Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am AstroZerg. Today, I decided that with the new multiplayer design changes, I would just give you guys a little idea on what it's all about and a little bit of my opinion and what factual information that it will do to benefit the game. So first off, we have the Cyclone. This is getting completely changed, as you can see right here. All these bullet points. Basically, what it's going to do is you can't really shoot air now, and it only, or sorry, you can, but if you look here, it does damage changed. So basically, this just makes it so that you got a bigger range and you do more damage versus armor. And then it costs less supply, it has more health, it doesn't need a tech lab, so you can actually make 2 Cyclones at a time. This is probably going to make it more of a, this is probably going to increase the chances you'll see the Cyclone Hellion build, which I have a few replays on how you can counter that before this patch, but this is going to increase that amount of builds because Ravagers are going to be armored. I'll get to that. So now, if you look down here, the Lockon damage is no longer, you can no longer upgrade that. So if you look here, this is basically what it'll look like. Smaller bullets, like it looks like it's shooting a lot faster, it does more damage. So they just got buffed really quickly. Sorry, really quickly. So then the next we have the siege tank, which is probably the most important. Basically all of this is just to increase mech a lot. But the siege tank also in bio can really help. What this is going to do is basically decrease the mobility of it, so you can no longer do tank evac. You can't pick it up with medevacs anymore, so it'll just go back to what it was in Heart of the Swarm. But now it's a lot more defensive, so it's very mech favored now. So it does plus 5 damage against everything, but it also does 15 damage to armored units. So as you can see here, Ravagers are biological units, but I think what they did is they changed it to armored now. I don't know if they're still biological, but we can check once we get there. So you can just see here the preview. Ravagers previously would just wreck through them. Now they just get blasted through in like 2 hits. So it'll make it a lot harder to use Ravager. Basically the whole point, I watched Starcraft Pro League. Somehow I managed to watch it at the certain time where David Kim was being interviewed, and he was talking about how their whole purpose was, part of their goal was to bring back some of the Ling Bane type of methods as opposed to the Roach Ravager, just balance it out a little bit more. And then we have here Liberators and Thors. So now Liberators are no longer they're no longer as strong. So it doesn't do plus damage to light anti-air attack, and the Thor has increased anti-air splash damage, and now it if you look here, the high impact payload is prioritized before the anti-ground weapons. So basically Thors are now the more of a anti-air counter versus the Liberators, where they are they're a lot less strong. And then if you go down to right here, we have the Banshees, and they're basically you can't really get the you can get the hyperflight rotors upgrade before having the fusion core, so you don't need to get all the way up to that high of a tech and then get that upgrade. And the Vikings now, their ground mode attack does a lot more damage, so it's a little bit I mean, really the transform where they go into the ground was never really used now, but now they've made it so that you can really use them if you have got a mass amount of them. They're not just wasted. And the battlecruiser, nobody really uses it because it was so expensive and so just hard to get to. So now there's no longer energy, but now it's cooldowns. So Yamada Cannon and Tactical Jump now. They made a the typo here, tactical. But now they're both 71 seconds long, and there's no longer a Behemoth reactor upgrade because that was an energy upgrade. Now the Raven, The auto turret damage was basically just increased to 24 from 16. So that'll just allow it to do more damage against Zerglings or something like that, as you can see here. And that's basically pretty much all buffing mech. That entire update was just buff mech up so that it was more viable. Now we go to Protoss, and we've got some late game stuff right here off the top. We have the Tempest. So now what's going to happen is the Tempest, it's now 6 supply instead of 4, and the damage increased to 35, but you can't, yes, okay, so the damage was increased to 35, but now it's only against anti-ground, not anti-air. The anti-ground weapon range was decreased so much, it's now 6, so you can't really use Tempest against Bio anymore. You can't just, well, you can, basically, because what it used to be, Tempest would be the counter to, like, Liberators and stuff that had, like, their range upgrade, but now it's, like, that's pretty much all they're good for. You can't really kite, like, Marines and Marauders and stuff. Now they've got a new ability called Disruption Spear. You launch a ball of energy, fires at target ground, you just goes to a certain area, and it just damages all kinds of units in that location. It does 450 damage over 32 seconds. So that's like, you could do it on a mineral line or something if you were able to get there somehow. And you can do it from 13. Yep. And then we go down here, and you can see the Disruption Sphere. So it just basically forces units to move away, and you can take that area. So against mech or something, you can throw it down on a certain area and force everything to back up. Now the Zealot, since that was like not used as much as Adepts and stuff, unless you were using Archon Immortal, they're basically trying to buff it up so that it gets more love. And as you can see here, now basically their charge upgrade increases the Zealot's movement speed in general to 4.13 from 3.85. And the carrier, let's see. Yeah, so basically what they did was, instead of making it so that the carrier could just throw out its interceptors and then they would stay there, now you can't just release the interceptors. They have to just go out and then they come back, just what they did in Heart of the Swarm type thing. But now the interceptors cost 5 minerals and they auto build, so there's no longer like you have to rebuild them if they die. They just make themselves. And then the Templar, this one they even say themselves. They just say that it's a experimental thing. All of these are experimental, but this is very experimental. What they're doing, they're sort of making it into what you see in the Legacy of the Void campaign. Does not 100%, but what it does is now Dark Templar can teleport, and it costs 150 to get it from the Dark Shrine, and it takes a long time to get, and it only has 21-second cooldown. So basically, this is just like if you do the campaign, they could kind of blink, but if you look down there, they just shoot right across. They can shoot across like small distances and stuff, or they can get out of your scans or something like that. So I'm not sure if that's going to be a good idea. I feel like it might not, but we'll see. So Zerg, we have the Swarm Host, and this is where I was coming in when he was talking about his interview. The Swarm Host is now going to they're basically what they're doing, and I can tell you exactly what they're going to do with this. They're deciding that the Swarm Host, they're just going to shoot it down in price so much, so that they kind of force people to use the Swarm Host in their test map, which is going to come out soon, so that they can kind of see, like, okay, is this going to work? And then if it does, then they might increase the price a little bit. But they increased the Locust swoop range to from 4 to 6. So that just buffs it up so that it is a little more efficient. And the Ravager, they really want to make it so that it's more diverse between the Ravagers, the Hydralisks, and the Banelings. So they decided that they're going to make it armored. I don't know why this isn't working, but basically what's going to happen is against certain units they'll be stronger, but like immortals and stuff like that, they'll just get shredded through. So what is going to happen is, it used to be that roaches were armored, ravagers were not. Now it is, and basically ravagers were what you would want to make if they have like a lot of immortals. Now it is both of them are armored, so immortals just destroy both of them. So it makes it a lot less viable in ZVP, and but we'll get to why that's not a bad thing. But what is it called? Oh, in Bio, Marines and Marines, it'll be harder to kill Ravagers. Of course, you got the tanks that to back you up, but tanks they have to move across the ground. So if you could hit the Terran in a vulnerable point, you might be able to do something about that. But yeah, really. And then in ZVZ, it's just the same thing, really. It just takes longer to kill each other. But now, here's where ZVP becomes a big factor. The Hydralisk, now, they're trying to make it a little more used now. They're basically going to buff the attack range from 5 to 6, and then when you get muscular augments, it gives +1 range to the Hydralisk again. So now it can have a total of 7 range as well as 25% movement speed. And then when it's on creep, the muscular augment gives it +25% on creep and off creep. So it basically has +25% speed boost above everything, all the other units, and then off creep it just has the same amount as the other units, so that it's not slow. So that's going to really help. You can kite easier with it, especially if you have 7 range versus an Adept's range, so you can actually kill things a lot easier. As you can see here, these guys die while these guys actually live. And then the Baneling. This is the other unit they wanted to address. As you can see here, they wanted to make it more used, give it more love in the game. So what they did was they increased the health. So it's from 30 to 40 health, and as you can see here, basically the 30 health, they can get killed before the Marines non-stimmed. Well, I don't know if they're stimmed or not. I doubt it. But now the Banelings can actually get to their targets and stuff like that, making Ling Bane more viable. On EU, I've been testing out Ling Bane, Muta, and on America, I've been using Roach Ravager. I might have to end up switching to Ling Bane or something like that. We'll see. I mean, Roach Ravager, I'll have to figure it out, but Roach Ravager might still be viable, but just not once they get a lot of tanks. Like, eventually, like, if they have, like, 7 tanks, you obviously can't do Roach Ravager because they'll just get destroyed. So I'll just have to figure that out. So the Infestor, I really like this. So what they did was now you can, you basically, you can cast anything while burrowed. So that means you can now actually cast like Neural Parasite as well as Fungal Growth. Yeah, there we go. So what you can do is now you can fungal all the units while burrowed. So they can't kill you. So you can be burrowing and stuff and just throw a fungal growth on them. Done. But Deep Tunnel does cost 50 of their mana, and what this is you can actually go anywhere in the map as long as you have vision there. So it's basically a Nidus, because it gives a warning to the enemy when it's happening. The thing about this, as soon as I heard about this, when David Kim was talking about it, I was like, I can fungal a mineral line. And so that's probably what I'll end up doing. That's probably what a few people will end up doing. You just either go deep tunnel to either their army or something like that, and you can just, or their mineral line, just throw fungals on their army maybe, like if it's bio. I mean, if you can get to it in time, you might be able to just kill their army straight up. That'd be pretty cool. On the Broodlord, they basically reduced the range from 11 to 10 so that the Thors can actually hit them and stuff like that, and it's not just overpowered. So, the test map is being released this week, so I look forward to playing. It's basically you have to queue for it like a multiplayer if you're doing ranked or something, so who knows, if I play one of you guys, then let me know. So, thanks for watching the run-through of the new patch, and I look forward to it. And see you next time. I am Astrodurk from YGG Gaming. Stay awesome.